aboard! It is time to hop aboard my spaceship, because you are now tuned into what is the Matrix TV. I'm your host, Master of the Universe, JasonElmst Williams. And today, we are getting into the aliens are coming into your master.
E.T. phone.
NASA scientist says 7-foot-tall black alien stepping out of a long ship. And then a Harvard professor is saying that there's less than 1% chance that this object floating in space is not directly headed for Earth. Is it time for the aliens, the Moors, the Martians, our ancestors coming? But first, let me introduce a special guest reigning all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, the great, the legendary Sun Ra. Peace, God. Oh, Tap, I shook.
Hold on, let me clap it up for myself. Peace, y'all. I shook. Peace. Always follow your intuition. That's my message. Always follow your intuition.
Always. So, before we get to Brother Sun Ra, introduce yourself and let us know where you're reigning from and what's been going on with you with these extraterrestrial aliens.
Hey.
You there? Lana, are you there?
Who?
Lana, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't hear Sun Ra. So,
I can.
Okay. So, and then let me introduce my special co-host, Lana, the Goddess.
Woohoo! It's Leo season.
Let's clap it up. We got to clap it up. We got to charge up the energy, man. Clap it up.
I know, man. We were having technical difficulties, y'all. My
Yes.
apologies. Let me get my crystal stones in my hand to get my energy going again. So,
thank you for having me on the show, Jason. Always.
You're welcome. Man, we had the technical difficulties probably because the government tapping into our technology. So really, let's get to going, y'all. The NASA scientists said that there's 7-foot black people stepping out of spacecrafts. It's all over the news. Then I wanted to talk about Joe Rogan talking about the extraterrestrials before we get going on the show. Are humans under aliens' control? 5 real alien encounters from students around the world. We're going to talk about what was your experience in the college dorms. Did you experience psychedelic trips when you were growing up? And did you make contact, whether it was with mushrooms or different types of chemicals or plants? No proof of alien sightings, say the NASA government. And then coincidentally, Neil Armstrong, spelled backwards, says Norks, Mr. Alien. Mm-hmm. And then do you guys remember black men in outer space? Why is it that they leave so-called Moors and Nuwapians and black men from outer space? Why is it that we don't have so many superheroes? Is it because the government is literally not only doing predictive programming, but basically creating a future in people's minds? Because if you control people's imagination, you control their thoughts, and then you control their manifestation, their magic emotion, their magic manifestating. So, Brother Sun Ra, what do you feel what's going on with all this UFO activity? We know that Dr. Malachi Z. York spoke about the mothercraft. Elijah Muhammad spoke of the mothercraft. We see the weather patterns changing. Because personally, for me, when although the crafts are here, when the mothership, when she arrives, it's going to change the electrical frequency of the planet. certain temperatures will change, which we'll call the ice melting, and what they call pole shifts, meaning that basically once you see that mothership in the sky, just like Will Smith right here in the middle when he's looking at the newspaper and he looked up and he saw that mothership, automatically everyone's reality will be locked in. The old world will be over, and everything that you know will have to be inside of you. And so for me, that's what it's time to prepare for, is our ancestors coming back. And they're also afraid of our ancestors coming back because they're coming to kick some tail. And some of y'all about to be lunch meat. So what do you feel what's going on, Sun Ra, with all this? And do these movies correlate, and what's going on with Trump correlate? Does all of this correlate with our awakening in the Aquarius age?
So listen, to be 100% honest with you, I have returned to a student mode, because the more I'm learning, the more I feel like I don't know what the fuck is going on. You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm sitting back with my spiritual popcorn, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on. Now, from my studies, mm-hmm. and from the school and the timeline that I deal with, you know, shit is aligning, because we teach that a lot of y'all so-called star family, which y'all call your ancestors, we call them your star family. So a lot of them are coming back. Listen, to pick a lot of y'all back up. Go watch that movie, Space Traders. Go watch Space Traders.
We got that.
Out. Okay, bet. That's perfect. Review
there we
that
go
movie
right here, y'all.
Let me
so
see.
Break it down what it's about. Let's get into that. Y'all can type it in. It's called Space Traders, or it's called Cosmic Slop. It's by George Clinton and the Funkadelics. That brother. So go ahead.
Whoa! Back up. You said it's by who?
It's by George Clinton. George Clinton hosted that.
My nigga. I've been listening to him all week.
Wow.
I had no idea that he made that movie. None.
Yes, and you guys look at it at the if you guys paying attention to the top of the screen, it says Cosmic Slop, hosted by George Clinton. And then it says Space Traders, Black people send people to space, at HBO anthology. And so basically this is what's happening. Just like in the show The V, just like Cosmic Slop. When our ancestors returned, right now it's a time. It's a time for you to wake up. That's what you're hearing inside of your ear. When you're hearing that ringtone, they can't tell you you got 222 days, 34.2 hours. Lift your weight. They can't say that because you'll go crazy. So what they'll do is they'll go ding, 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 ding. So they're tuning you.
Yes.
They're tuning you like a fork, a tuning fork, because your body is a organ, correct? It's an instrument. And so when you align with your cobra, your pineal gland, that's how you tap into the mothership, the source, the Akashic records, free information. Once you understand that, because then you understand you're not a human and that you're extraterrestrial. They taught us that we're humans. That's why they used to tell you you're not a human. But our people were tricked into believing that they're human or a man, but we are not. We are the Martians. You understand? So when the mothership arrives, it's going to change the electrical frequency of the planet, and that's what they're basically telling us in the media. They've been telling us all throughout these movies, y'all, that those who are in control and have so-called enslaved us on our own land, our own planet, they had a certain time of rulership, and that time is up. So when the mothership arrives, you have to be vibrating on a certain intellectual frequency. Yep. Why? Is because the movie Cosmic Slop, Space Traders gave you an example of the sellout Negro. And so basically the so-called sellout Negroes who are partying, dancing, laughing at people like myself, Sun Ra, Alana, those are the people who will be left behind. Those will be the people coming to us soon when all these events start occurring even more. They're going to be coming to Sun Ra. They're going to be having to break bread and currency with us. They're going to be coming to Lana because we're the ones with the information. We're the ones who are tapped in. We are the extraterrestrials. Right now, the so-called humans are literally robots. That's why they're bringing in the robots, just like the movie Westworld, where the actual robots become sentient. Use yourself as an example. When you become online, you understand that you're in a matrix hologram. You understand that there's been different civilizations, meaning different matrices, different realities on this planet. So it means that the story, his story that he told to you was a lie, and it implemented a false idea, which created a false dream world in your mind as a kid. And so when you become online, you have to take yourself out of hell. That's what people are afraid of, because in order to take yourself out of hell, if you're in a place and you have to get out of that place, what do you have to go through?
Hell.
There you go. And
that
so
hurts. That's painful.
it burns. And so you're going to have people trying to drag you down, stay down here on this lower vibration. But you don't want to stay because that's the food. So when we vibrate on a higher frequency, we elevate our minds, and this is when brother like Sun Ra can take over, because this is our special guest. So when you were saying, Sun Ra, that you feel it's time, go further with your teachings as a Nuwapian, and what your explanation of space traders and what's going on today.
First thing I want to be clear, I am not a Nuwapian. I do study Wu Nuwap, but I am not a Nuwapian.
Okay.
Nuwapian is on the SLC terrorist watch list. You see what I'm saying? So I cannot claim to be a Nuwapian. I'm claiming to be a terrorist, so I do that. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
That's how they doing it. See, that's how they doing. That's what they're doing. They are, without getting sidetracked. You know what I'm saying? That's how they're canceling all these black organizations by labeling them as terrorists. You see what I'm saying? Like the Black Panthers and all that. You know what I'm saying?
Like they demonized the word ISIS years ago.
You better stay woke. Exactly. Please stay woke. Stay woke, please.
And they're demonizing woke. But go ahead.
Yeah. And look, without getting sidetracked, again, they're demonizing ISIS again with ICE. And right, what's going on in California? ICE is locking up everybody, right? Mm-hmm. So now they're demonizing ISIS again. But again, that's another subject. I don't want to get off topic. But back to this whole UFO extraterrestrial again. I want to stress, I'm still learning. You know what I'm saying? Okay. I'm still trying to figure out what's going on. But based upon what I've learned so far, honestly, you was on point. You're actually you was on fire, because you hit some very important things that I don't think a lot of people are ready for. You have to get your vibration at a certain level, because this is what's really going on. A lot of y'all are not from here, even on a physical level. We know that we're aliens spiritually, etherically, right? We know that your soul incarnates from another dimension, blah blah. Okay, we know that. But some of y'all are physical aliens, meaning your great grandmama, aka your bloodline ancestors, were living on another planet in a whole nother solar system, and they came to Earth. You know what I'm saying? This is one of our colonies. Earth is one of our colonies. And it's not a home world, it's a colony. Shit.
That's right.
So we flew over Earth, and the women they was sexy. So we was like, hey man, we need to park the starship. I want 9 of them Earthlings. You know what I'm saying? I'm serious. This is how it went. Y'all. I know it sounds crazy, but this is how it went. I'm just niggifying it right quick. So we was in our starship. We flew past Earth. We seen Earth women, had sex with them, and produced all these children. Long story short, we are the children of these sky daddies. You know what I'm saying? These black sky daddies. We are their bloodline descendants. Now listen, because Earth is entering in, because a pole shift is about to pop off, and a pole shift basically when the planet is about to change. Like a lot of continents are gonna fall. You're gonna have new continents. It's about to get real apocalyptic. Go watch the movie 2012. It's about to get real apocalyptic. But listen, because your star family love y'all niggas so much, they don't want y'all to be a part of that. So they sent down teachers to get your vibration up, because a lot of y'all, many of y'all who are of these bloodlines are about to be moved physically off planet. A lot of y'all going back to Sirius. Some of y'all going back to Orion. Some of y'all going to a planet called Risk.
Yep.
Some of y'all going back to the Pleiades.
Yeah.
Shit, some of y'all niggas going back to. But listen,
Wait,
huh?
you were talking about Sirius. Now let them know about Sirius, because I have a picture for that. When you say Sirius, they might think you're just saying serious instead of serious, dog.
Right. So if you take off the U.S., you get Siri. You better stay woke.
Hey Siri.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh.
Yeah, you take off the U.S. You take
I
off the
didn't
U.S. You
notice
get
that,
Siri.
Raw.
Mm-hmm.
I never noticed that, homie.
Mm-hmm.
Wow,
Yeah.
brother. And she
Mm-hmm.
talks. She's intelligent. I remember when she first came out, my family would get mad because I would start asking her questions. They were like, stop. I was like, she's letting you know they're listening. They're sentient. Talk to Chat GTP, y'all.
Because I'm gonna tell you why. What happens when you sell your soul? This what happens. For all you people
Here we
who
go.
for all y'all people who are religious, let's get down to the science on what's really going on. When you sell your soul, you give up the sovereignty of who you really are. Once you do that, selling your soul for money or for pussy or power, whatever you sell your soul for. Once you do that, now the Draco have sovereignty over your soul. So what they're gonna do is, since they're so high technology, what they're gonna do is they're gonna take your being, your essence, your soul. They put it in a magnetic chamber, right? They have technology where they can put your soul in a chamber. Long story short, without getting into all that. So what they're gonna do is they're gonna put your ass. They're gonna put you in a cyborg, or they're gonna put you in one of these phones, and you're gonna serve 60 years as an app, or 60 years as a cyborg, because you
Talk
sold your
about it.
motherfucking soul.
Talk about it.
Because you sold yourself, and if they put you in a cyborg body, you got to serve 600 years. Don't get me started.
It's
No, get
because
started.
the robots, when they start showing you guys, which are already here, watch the show, type in Small Wonder, Vicky the Robot. As a kid, I already knew. I was like, some of my teachers were robots. Some of your presidents, celebrities, athletes, some of your friends, they're androids, the cyborgs. It's already been here. Our ancestors already went to war with these beings. So it's this, they kept it secret to us as so-called modern people. But those of us who have been sent here and have memory wipes and is coming back online, we can remember, like Brother Sunrise saying. So basically, when the troglodyte, the so-called, let's say, the government, when they create these avatar robots, to us, we're dealing with Chat GTP. They're already telling you that, I believe in the state of Texas, it's the largest construction of modern man to basically house these quantum computers, these AI computers. And so like they show you in iRobot, the show Westworld, when these computers, which they already have, become sentient, which we basically are saying conscious, able to think for themselves, you then have to question and then answer that electricity is consciousness. And we are made up of atoms, photons, neurons, electrons, which is electrical frequencies bouncing off of each other like mirrors, which creates a hologram. So we are electrical beings. We only see, some of us only see a certain amount of electrical frequencies or hertz that's around us. That's why when you eat a magic mushroom or a psychedelic, you see different frequencies, you see different beings, you tap into higher or lower frequencies of beings.
Hey, Jason.
Yes.
Yo, out here in Atlanta, I tell everybody that story you told me. I tell everybody that story you told me out here. I don't know if you remember. You told me a story about one time you took some shrooms and you went to a Hollywood party and you see niggas shapeshifting.
Definitely. But also when my father passed, check this out, y'all. When I was in junior high, I got recruited by LaFace Records. When I was in junior high, I won a talent show at Arizona Middle School. I tore the house down. I sung a Michael Jackson song. And back then, I guess there was no social media, right? So the word of mouth was even more powerful. The tongue was more powerful than we can imagine. Think about it. We had to use our ancient sciences, right? So in ourselves. So basically, somehow LaFace Records heard about it from someone who was in the audience. They flew out and came to the house. Now, before they came to the house and stuff, they were already sending me Tony Braxton. There was an artist like TQ who hadn't signed. Like they were sending me artists who hadn't either signed in LaFace or who were still artist development. So before Tony Braxton blew up, I was getting tapes from her. Same with the ushers and all that. And so it was like three or four. I want to say 3 people, and they came. We talked, and then my parents allowed them to talk to me by my room. They didn't go inside my room, by the door, and I was short, and they stood over me, and I remember seeing the lady talk, and she turned into a freaking lizard. Now, of course, at the time, until I came of age, being like, whoa, but she turned into a lizard, and she was talking about, because when you're a handsome or cute kid, older ladies, they'll be like, he's so cute, I just want to eat him, da-da-da-da. They had a movie called Witches about that.
Literally.
But and so she stood over me, and she looked like a rat. She was like, I just want to eat him, and I didn't do anything, but I was like, what the F? And so we went back in the living room, and I was supposed to go with them, and my mom said, you said you didn't want to go. And they left, and the same thing they asked, like, is he coming? And I never told my mom that, they shapeshifted. I didn't know. I just kept it to myself. And so years later, when these things start popping up, you'd be like, oh, wow, it's been around me the whole time. So now when I'm in my 20s in Hollywood, and I've already done shrooms in college and all these things, now when I'm getting my drink spiked, because I didn't recognize it at the time, I thought it was cool. So I'm like, oh, someone spiked the punch. I'm saying, but no, that's effed up, because that's how they get people. Imagine if you've never done psychedelics in your life, and you go to a Hollywood party and they spike your freaking drink. Oh my goodness. Imagine. And imagine if you have talent and they have cameras and you do something while under the influence because you haven't practiced in that realm before, and someone knows how to take advantage of you. And so you get sent into a realm that some people can't return from. So when you hear people say, oh, you can't lose your soul, that's bull crap, because they've never been in the freaking industry. They're not talented, or they never been that guy. You know what I'm saying? So they never been at the top, whether you're getting recruited in high school, junior high. When you're a god, you have adults trying to get at you to be a part of their world as a kid, homie. When you're an athlete, when you're a dope singer, it's adults trying to bring you into the fold when you're elite. Because the extraterrestrials are already here. There's different factions, like Sun Ra was saying, of extraterrestrials. Your human or your avatar suit, this is your avatar suit for your consciousness. This is your tomb. So you can come from so many different star systems, but when you look at a person from his ears, or her ears, her nose, her eyes, whether their color, you can see which certain people are from certain star systems. Look at my ears. That's a Spock, right? Vulcan. So that's like the intelligent, the elves, the Elm Streets. And so when we talk about, like Sun Ra was saying, Sirius dog star, we're talking about a constellation or a star. We're talking about what they call a planet. When you look up that our ancestors have proof and jotted down, built pyramids on that are aligned. And when the Sirius star system and star is studied, Sirius A, B, and C, and it you watch the rotation, it's the rotation of the DNA strand, y'all. The human DNA strand. Look up the West African tribe of the Dogon. Study Mesoamerica. Go throughout the planet. So when we talk about Chekula or the Chocho or the Cholo or Ampu or Anubis, the hairless dog, the black dog, when George Clinton is talking about the atomic dog, he's talking about Anubis. Anubis goes to fetch. You got to be a dog to get yourself as Asar back. You got to be a dog to get your pieces back because they cut you up. They got you thinking you're black. They got you thinking our people are Christians. They got you thinking that you're human. They done cut your mind up into pieces. So you got to be a dog to get it back because they don't want you to get it back. That's what really Anubis is about. So Anpu. So when you get it back, you're able to make direct contact with your ancestors, your higher self, and call for help. So when you see the spaceships coming out, that's because a lot of us or some of us are coming online calling for help. And so you have built crafts in your past. So when you intellectually or through telepathy start saying, I want to go home, I'm ready to get out of this matrix. And then you know that your ancestors and you built spacecraft and you can turn into a Merkaba. That's when the crafts start coming. But if you're distracted by the Laker game, the Trumps, what's going on in the news, not eating right, around the wrong people, you will be left behind, just like in school. If you don't know 1 + 1 = 2, if you saying 1 + 1 = 4, how are you going to go to the 2nd grade? So what happens if you so-called believe that you die, is they trick you to think that you can die, but you're in a video game. You're infinite. It's an infinite video game, a matrix, a dream world, an illusion. So when you know that your consciousness is infinite and you can never die, you would approach the day, D-E-Y, because you are the day. You gave the humans days. D-E-Y are the day tribes of the Martians, Muurs, and Moors, who gave a D-A-Y to the humans. We're the gods who came down and said, that's a plant, that's a star, that's a moon, that's that, because they didn't have a reality on a higher level. They were ooga booga. So the Sirius satellite, they're making a mockery of us as the dog stars, because they're saying that when you become a dog star, you can make contact with what? A satellite in the sky and get information through the ethers. And then you see to the right the atomic dog, Osiris. So all symbology of you being the dog star. So go ahead, Sun Ra.
Now go watch
Man,
this event.
you on fire, man. You gotta hit me with a question because you on fire. You talking about Sirius?
So we got Sirius. I read this book, Sirius Mystery, in 2005, y'all.
Hey, hold on. So look, so check this out. Let me stand up again. Check this out. Here's the Sirius Mystery. I'm gonna keep it simple. I'm gonna keep it very simple. I like keeping things very simple so that even a 13-year-old can understand what's going on. Sirius, right? Long story short, when we evacuated our home world because what was going on there, go watch the show Man Who Fell to Earth. That's our story, the Man Who Fell to Earth. Go check that out. So when we evacuated our home world, right, many of those bloodlines went to Sirius, some went to Orion, some went to Pleiades, some went to other star systems. The bloodlines that are on Earth are the bloodlines that went to Sirius, right? So what I'm saying is we made Sirius our second home. So you niggas that are on Earth, y'all are the bloodlines that went to Sirius. That's why Sirius is so dear to us, because after we evacuated our planet, we made that Sirius star system our new home planet. Excuse me, our new home star system. That's the link we have to that. And there's a white, and listen, it's a lot of you niggas out there that don't hear that they don't want to hear no truth unless it's coming from the white man. So, with that being said, a white man wrote a book about this very same subject. It's called
The
shit.
serious mystery. The serious mystery. I read the book.
No,
right
you're right.
here.
That one, right? That one. There's another one.
Really?
Shit, I can't think of it off top. But in that book, written by a white person, he says there's a chapter. Listen, Jason, and audience. There's a chapter in this white man's book that says this. The title of the chapter is African Origins and their Syrian homeworld. Case closed. And in that chapter, in that chapter, he goes into great detail and says that, okay, listen, white folks, don't stop abusing black people, blah blah blah. They're not from here. They're from another. They're from the Syrian homeworld. They're from in their star system. Their skin color is brown, tan, blah 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 blah. But stop abusing these people. This is what the white man said. So that is our home too. Serious. That's the serious mystery. Case closed. And that's where a lot of y'all going back to. That's why it's very important to raise your vibration. If you notice, you see a lot of so-called white folks working out. Why? Because those of them that are woke, they know what's coming. They want to leave too. And don't nobody want to stay down here. Even white men don't want to stay down here. You know what I'm saying? So they're working out. You got to get in shape because
there you go.
Huh?
So speaking of working out, y'all, because thank you. I have a slide just for that. Because that's what Trump is telling y'all. That's why he initiated them. That's why you see UFC. Why do you think that they're training so hard for UFC? Why do you think they're telling them to kill and train while they're telling y'all to drink, party, shake your behind, worship Jesus, worship God, all these distractions? Because back in the day, right here, look at this. Kids these days will never know how serious field day was. You guys remember Field Day? Do you guys remember on Nickelodeon the show Guts, Legends of the Hidden Temple? We used to have shows like American Gladiators. You feel me? Because they're telling you that if you get left on this lower frequency, it's going to be Escape from LA. All the futuristic movies show you that this is hell. So go ahead, Sunrod. Tell them why they need to stay in shape then.
Yo, you be going in. Hey, matter of fact, they should make a sequel. Call it Escape from Planet Earth. They made Escape from New York. They made Escape from LA. We need Escape from Planet Earth.
Let's do it.
Yo, so Jason, have you seen that movie, Don't Look Up?
I'm not sure. I don't believe so.
Is that a pretty new movie? Don't Look Up.
Came out like 2 years ago.
Yes, I heard it. Yes, I've seen Don't Look Up.
There you go, Jason. Go. Hey, matter of fact, Jason, you don't even gotta watch the whole movie. Just watch the end of that movie. The end of the movie show you all the elites getting on a starship, leaving planet Earth before it gets hit by an asteroid. You know what I'm saying? So even they're trying. But look, here's the funny part.
Wait. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
I was gonna say after you guys are done watching this live, y'all need to go see Superman.
It's the new one.
Yes, in your face. Even my mom, we went to go see it and she looked at me and I was like, I'm telling you, these movies are telling you exactly what's about to happen in like 15 minutes. I can't say next week because time is gone. It's a wrap.
So hold on. I'm glad you brought up that Superman because that's our story. Hold on. Except this time, it wasn't just one person who left it wasn't just one person who escaped the planet. It was bloodline, entire families.
Yes.
Right? And what we're trying to tell y'all is the serious mystery is y'all are the Syrian family. Y'all are the families, y'all are the royal black god Nehru families that went to Sirius. That's a serious mystery. But that Krypton shit, that is y'all story. Now listen, if you study Superman like I do, their god is called Ra. The god that Kryptonians listen. The god that the Kryptonians pray to, that motherfucker, his name is Ra. Nigga, please.
Wow.
Go look it up. Go look it up. If you think I'm bullshitting, go look it up.
They even show you.
Hold on. Anytime y'all think I'm bullshitting, just go on Google and look it up.
Wow.
Type in. His name is Rao, Rayo. Which
Yeah.
and he's a sun god of Krypton.
Yeah.
Nigga,
And he
please.
says that in the movie. You got to see the movie. He tells you he's there. They're telling you everything in the movie. He's like, I'm from, I forgot what sun he said. He said I'm from this sun or something like that. I'm not from that other sun that those people are from. You got to go see. It's in your face. They even have a dog named Crypto. In the movie now, it's a dog named Crypto. Represents the Doge dog.
Ah,
interesting.
Interesting.
And then it shows how Superman goes. Remember we were talking about how when you transition over, the ancestors are gonna show you your whole life. You know, they're gonna want to know why you did what you did, why you didn't do what you did. Well, they showed him sitting in a chair, and they had screens around him, and they were showing all his memories.
Wow.
So when you transition over, that's why it's imperative, like you were saying, work out and eat right and really just unplug from everything that doesn't serve you well, because if you don't, you're going to miss the boat. You're not going to be able to hear it because you're filled with, you're distracted. You're filled with a whole bunch of nonsense that your body, your DNA doesn't need. Those parasites need to unhinge. You need to get rid of those parasites, because even like Jason, when you talk about mushroom, microdosing or just shrooming, I didn't take any shrooms when I had a visit from Ampu. I wasn't on any shrooms, no drugs at all. And I got that visit, but that came from fasting. You know what I'm saying? So fasting and getting rid of meat and processed foods and trying to stick to a high vibration, live it, like eating fruits and vegetables that are raw instead of cooking them. So it's a process, but we got to get on it, because the more we talk to our ancestors, because our ancestors will help us. If we say, yo, I don't want to smoke anymore, I don't want to eat this meat anymore, they will give you help. You feel me? But we got to call on them for assistance during these times. It's possible. It will happen.
Well, even with the psilocybin, you guys see the picture to the right. It says psilocybin shown to extend life of human cells by 50%. That's because the psilocybin connects different brain connectors, brain receptors. It makes you more, intelligence is born, but it basically gets you in tune once again, as you see to the left, with the mother craft. So this is why these the funky fungus, which is older than plants, is illegal in certain countries and areas. Why? Because like Lana says, basically you are what you eat. So if we're eating processed foods, the information that the processed foods hold within is false, fake information. Therefore, we're dealing with fake people. But when we start eating organic foods and then psilocybin, different psychedelic plants, those are your real teachers. That's why the word nature is derived from the word netter. And who are the netterus and netters? That's the periodic table and the gods of ancient Kemet. And what is Kemet or Kemet? It is what today we call ancient Egypt, y'all. So right there, we see a link to psilocybin mushrooms, Mu, M-U, Tamu or Tameri, to what? Mu, Hathor. Because the first teachers, the first deities, before there was a god or goddess, it was the netters, nature. And so what plants did you eat that taught you? The psilocybin, the magic moo, mushrooms. And what animal goes moo?
The cow.
Moo, the cow. And what do they have Americans eating?
Cows.
So that's a sacrifice.
Yes,
every day. A blood sacrifice to the bull god. Bow.
And you know what?
And so that's a double sacrifice. That's a good one to their bull god or their cow, giving blood sacrifice, but it's negative on our end for Hathor, because we know we're not supposed to be on a diet, because we're electrical beings. We don't die. We live.
Jason, real quick, that's the first thing I stopped eating when I got the visit from Aunt Pooh like 3 years ago in my room. I stopped eating meat. I stopped eating beef, like cow. I literally was crying in the fetal position when I would see somebody cooking it. I could smell somebody barbecuing cow beef like a mile away, and I would just start crying. And I'd be mad, like you know, because my whole DNA was just adjusted. So I went back online, and my DNA was rejecting the things that didn't serve me well. Like, shout out to Dr. Layla Africa for breaking down what processed foods is. We don't even think about it. Processed foods is basically food that has been processed for you. So it's already been broken down for you. Who chewed it up? Who's eating the food and then putting it back in the bag and saying, here you go. Just put it in the microwave and warm it up. Now you can eat it again. We don't think like that. So if we take a moment and really process what we're putting in our temple, because that, at the end of the day, that is your spaceship. So if we fill our spaceship, our bodies up with junk, processed foods, meats, all that's weighing your vibration down. You're literally taking something and you're putting it on your body. You're weighing your vibration down. You can't move. You can't excel like that. That's why it's important that we have to get rid of it.
And that's why it's important.
Discipline.
And that's why it's important for us to listen to Sister Lana. I have a picture right here. It says they accused Tituba along with 2 other women of witchcraft. The first person to be killed in the Salem witch hunts was a so-called black woman. So I didn't know that, y'all. So the divine feminine is important. So keep talking. Sun Ra, do you have anything to add with that? And then, by the way, y'all, look at this photo right here. Doesn't it look like Sun Ra? If you guys have Instagram, go at them at Sunra, SUNRAA 99. But there's a book by Robert Temple, The Serious Mystery. It says new scientific evidence of alien contact 5,000 years ago. It talks about Pharaoh Akhenaten coming from Sirius, and also the story of Jason and the Argonauts. And then once again, Jesus being a mistranslation for Jason. And that the story of Jesus and the 12 disciples is taken away from Jason and the Argonauts. And then the story of Jason and the Argonauts is about the story of Akhenaten and what Sun Ra is saying, the Syrians, and that the Argo is a spacecraft. And so basically what Sun Ra is saying, that all of this is leading to us leaving in a spaceship. So that's what we're talking about right here. So go ahead, Sun Ra.
So that's what, and so right. Go back to that real quick. Go back to that picture right there. Okay, right.
And it looks like you.
So interesting, right? I've heard that before. So check this out. So that book title should have said The Orion Mystery, because what Akhenaten was trying to do. First of all, Akhenaten, he was very androgynous, right? If you would have seen a nigga nowadays, you probably think he was gay, but he wasn't. He was just androgynous. He was called a gatekeeper. Him and his wife Nefertiti. Nefertiti was also androgynous, and she was a gatekeeper. They were both, because they were gatekeepers. When you're vibrating on your masculine and feminine, long story short, when you sing, you can open a portal. Long story short, so all you singers out there, keep singing. So, anyways, if you have the right music keys, you can sing and open up a motherfucking portal. That's what Akhenaten and Nefertiti. That's what they were doing. That's why they moved. If you type in, if you research Akhenaten, it tells you that he moved the city, the capital, to Tel Armana, because Tel Armana was a stargate. They're trying to open up a gateway to Orion, the middle star of the Orion belt. That's why the pyramids line up to that. Because remember what I told y'all? I said a lot of y'all niggas, a lot of y'all went to Orion too, right? Matter of fact, Orion is the masculine. Long story short, the females went to Sirius, and the niggas went to Orion. And so the 12 male Neteru from Orion and 12 female Neteru from Sirius came down to Earth, and they had sex with each other, and they made y'all. But anyways, so if you research the story of Akhenaten, he's trying to open up a Stargate to Orion. Jason, go back, check out Stargate. That's story Akhenaten right there.
Can you go into more detail when you were talking about the name? What was the name? Because I'm gonna write more of that down as well. I'm learning as well. Because
Which name? What? Which one? Oh, what?
you
What
said when he moved the capital.
oh, okay. To
Where did it
tell
go?
Armana.
Tell
Tell Armana that he moved it there because that was one of those that was a vortex. So he had to build a Stargate there. That's why he moved it over there.
And then you were speaking of singing. And when you guys look at the Pharaoh Akhenaten, what Sun Ra is saying, he has these jars, like canoptic jars. And then Nefertiti sometimes is holding a strum instrument. And then the sun is reaching down in its unks. And when I was in Kemet, that's when Kwesi was like, yo, you've been here before. You're decoding. You've been here before. And I said, those are music notes. And so that's where like they get Psalms from. Psalms are songs, and that's why the Islam they go, and then it's a hum. That's why the rapper, the raw, that's why they had to get us in hip hop, because the moment conscious hip hop took over, we opened up gateways. That's why when you listen to my music, my Stargate, I open up portals. But now we're talking about brothers who are doing it on a higher level. Can you get into that more of music notes and songs and that relating to the Stargate with Akhenaten?
So now this is this subject is still very mysterious. The subject is still unraveling. So I'm still learning. So I need to learn more about music, because the notes that they're telling us to study is FAC. They're saying FAC, right? There's three main vibrations.
Yes.
There's the vibration of the universe.
Yes.
Then there's your vibration, and then there's a vibration of your Salafal ancestors who are vibrating on another dimension, right? So FAC. So I got to say FAC.
Yes.
But again, it's still a mystery. I still don't understand it. But what I'm seeing is I'm noticing it's all about music. All about music. So get into your music. That's the gateway, your music. Because just like I told you, if you know the right tones and you have the right knowledge, you can sing, and a gateway will open. That's why if you go back to witchcraft and voodoo, that's why a lot of witches, that's why they do chants and incantations. That's how they open up portals to bring up other entities and summon beings. It's just science. They just know how to open up portals.
And that's what we did, because when we danced, it was
the body
a pattern. That's what Michael Jackson was showing y'all. Remember the time.
It's an instrument, and like you said, once it's like, you guys still there?
Yeah, yep, I'm here.
Okay. I think Jason, we lost him, but yeah, 11 organ systems are in the body. If we study each of the organ systems, and then like you said with FAC. I'm still learning that too. I just learned about FAC myself. But it is a science. And when we take all this knowledge and we put it together, we find out it's like a harp. We have to fine tune our instrument, our bodies. We have to fine tune it so that we can just ascend,
And so we got a picture, or we have a picture right here, what Sun Ra was saying, and Lana, you see our ancestors in Africa, Louisiana down south, all similar, banging the drum, doing patterns, doing dances. That's why when we used to have ciphers as rappers at recess, the guard duties would break us up if you were at a troglodyte school. Why? Because they have to break up so-called Muurs and aliens, or black people, when we're gathering positively in music, because we open up stargates. That's why they had to ruin the concerts. That's why they had to make it. Someone has to mute their thing. I'm echoing. That's why at concerts they had to make it gangster, because the black concerts, like the Travis Scott stuff, at the hip hop concerts, people get killed and murdered. compared to the country singers, the rock and roll singers who can go massively. Hundreds of thousands of people, almost 500,000 people came to see Lady Gaga in Brazil. Just like Michael Jackson had people passing out, what I was told, the reason why he had to change his color, even though they burnt him and killed him and did all sorts of things to try to kill him with the Pepsi commercial, and when he got burnt, also he was having people pass out. Troglodytes and white folks were passing out of a black man. So if he was dark-skinned and had an afro and he had people passing out, it would clearly be on you being a sports star, you being an intellectual. The world will be able to see that you are God. That you are the supreme alien and you can do things that no human can do. And so they had to lighten up, Michael, because it was too much for them. And so that's one of the things. So, and remember the time, the video, if you notice, Michael Jackson was doing a dance pattern. He did a spinning move, put some essence on the ground, and he disappeared. That's because that's what you can do. This is a sign of electricity. All these hieroglyphs that you see when we're dancing, it's not just random. It's what Sun Ra was teaching you. It's what the West African magic and sorcery and voodoo. I do voodoo, you do. All these things. And so when we talk about dancing and what Sun Ra was saying, now imagine when we're in our correct state of mind. We know what patterns to do. So you're doing a geometrical pattern, and let's say it's a massive of us, then the drums are banging, the sisters and brothers from the bass, the baritone, the brothers with the deep voice, the high pitch, with a song and a dance and a natural beat of the drum, you can open up a vortex. And that's why in the movie He-Man, what opened up a portal? It was like a music machine. It's because music, just like my unk, the unk was like a sound instrument. It can open up wormholes. So go ahead, Sun Ra, keep teaching us more about what you were saying with Pharaoh Akhenaten and the dance and music, please, because we know that they did change the octave, the October, which is a calendar, because there's different, the stars and the sun give off a different song each month, each day. So each day we could record what the sun says. So we had machines, just like they have radio machines. We have what they hid. We had machines to where we could build it and you could communicate with Ra. You could communicate and get the song, just like the SIRIUS radio station. You could get the song or the message from SIRIUS or from Ra. And so your vessel, your own body, is a messenger of Ra. So go ahead, you're Osiris. And so that's what you return to when you form Voltron. Like Sun Ra said, we're ascending. We're in class right now. We're in the mystery schools right now. This is what they tried to shut down, and this is what's opening in the Aquarius age. So thank you, Sun Ra. So continue the teachings with the music, please, and the dancing, and opening up gateways like Mike L.
Hey
Michael.
man, listen. That is the full extent of what I got on that. So, but I encourage y'all. But listen, I encourage y'all to keep, and just like what Lana's saying, you know what? As you raise your vibration, your voice gets better. Like I'm noticing that I'm a good singer because I've been tuning. You know what I'm saying? I've been raising my vibration, and I sound good too. You know what I'm saying? That is not a coincidence. So what I tell y'all is continue tuning up, Jason. Yo, get back into your music, man. Get back into your music, and and listen. Remember what I told you before. It's the reason why you wasn't in that music. But your star family ancestors were protecting you. They didn't want you. They didn't want you to be a part of that demonic shit. Listen. the overlords, the Draco, the leaders of the planet, they know how powerful music is. So you don't think they're gonna take that over? Come on, man. So when they fall, guess what? Star Seed music about to come in. That's where you come in.
So did you ever watch Moonwalker, Sun Ra?
Nigga, please. That's one of my. Nigga, I seen that movie almost 150 times. That's one of my favorite movies.
And so that's what Michael was talking about. I'm the Sunwalker, y'all. Michael's the Moonwalker. And
Jason, I've seen Moonwalker 150 million times.
What is your breakdown of that movie? Let's go there, because I have my breakdown. What did you? What aspects can you apply today? What's going on with Epstein, child and human trafficking? What did you learn from Moonwalker when he was when the director turned into a reptilian? There were so many aspects when he turned into the rabbit, the Ra, one of the names one of the animals that you can, with a RA, is the rabbit, Ra, the rabbit hole, the infinity, the black hole. So what did you learn from Moonwalker? And then I'll give mine as well.
Well, so hold on. First of all, I've seen that movie 250 million times. Yo, but I want to hear your breakdown. Because when I was watching that, I was watching it from a pure, childish, being entertained state. Because I love Michael Jackson and Prince. But that scene, I tell you
love some Prince.
Yeah, Prince and Rick James. But listen,
by heart.
But listen. That scene where he transformed into a starship.
Yes,
that goes back to what you said earlier about turning into a Merkaba.
There you go.
Yep.
So that's one aspect of Moonwalker. You see, Michael Jackson had multiple movies, y'all. You guys have to go forward or go back to the future again, because everyone, that was like a hidden copy. When someone had Moonwalker at their house, oh my goodness. Some video stores didn't even have it for rent, and whenever it was, I would rent it. And so
I love that movie.
Moonwalker, like Brother Sun Ra was saying, he used his Merkaba to shapeshift. Remember he turned into a Black Panther, and was it black or white? They took that video off when he was smashing the car and turned into a panther. But Michael turned into an animal, then he turned into a robot, then he turned into a spaceship. And that's what you can do. That's what he was showing you that we can do. But also, he was saving the children. Joe Pesci was representative of the government, who was putting, of course, like poison in the food. And then the spider, you know what I'm saying? And that the kids, they were kidnapping the kids. And that's the whole point. If you understand that you never die and that you can come back to this video game, you would protect the kids, because you're a kid. You're not supposed to ever, you're not an adult. You're not ever supposed to be an adult. You're supposed to be the goat, the mischievous going around, which is Kanoon. That's why they make the horn-headed deities of Kemet. They'll say Lucifer and Lucy and the sun, which deals with Venus, and all these things is because we must protect the children. That's what Peter Pan and all these things with Captain Hook, what Michael was teaching with Netterland. Neverland is Netterland. And so Netterland is what? El Kemet. You are the Netters. You choose what Netter is, Mike L. So what he's teaching in Moonwalker is that you cannot lose your innocence. You cannot lose that childlike mind. That's what the government did. That's why they gave us age. They gave us birthdays. They gave us time. They gave us these calendars, which is an octave, which is a sound, which is a frequency for you to think on. So that's when they say raise up your vibration. It's your mind. And that's why Mike L, the angel Mike L, the Mike, M-I-C-K-E-Y, the Mike key, you know what I'm saying? Learn about Disneyland and why it's Mickey Mouse, the Mike key. Mickey is microphone key, because the key is in the microphone. The Ra, the rapper, the musician, the Moo. like Sun Ra's teaching, like Michael was teaching and still teaches, because his teachings and his music lives forever. Because your music can live forever. That's why it's important for you to make music of high consciousness and vibration. So when they play your music 2, 4, 6 years later, it's still there. It's the same day when you recorded it, but it's infinite. And so the music is a time capsule. That's why they make it digital instead of it being live, because when you see someone live, it's different than experiencing it. So in Moonwalker, when we talk about the children and you link it to Netherland, those are codes. Because when you know you do not die and you cannot die and you maintain your youth, you create a utopia. You know you can come back. So that's why you protect the children. That's why you protect the water, the plants. You show love to everyone and everybody, because you are, it's like a multiplayer video game. Why would you want to poison the water or be mean to another person when all of us are in here and you can come back in here and it's vacation, it's paradise. And so that's why they give us these horror movies for the future, is because that's what they want us to imagine. But when we maintain our youth, we think of all your happy thoughts as a kid, as the greatest of all time. That's who you're supposed to be, that childlike innocence essence. And so when Michael got to the movie set, the director got mad, and the more angry he got, what did he turn into, y'all? He turned into a reptilian. You guys remember that?
Right, during the cowboy, when they're doing that cowboy shit, right?
Right. And everybody on that set was fake, right? He was the only real one. So it's showing you that the world is addicted to Hollywood because most people aspire to be a Hollywood star, whether it's a president, a basketball star, a movie star. That's the highest thing that you think. But if you're behind the scenes and understand the truth behind the reality, it's a show. Therefore, reality is a stage. It's set. That's why they call it set. And what is the temple of Set? It goes back to El Kemet. And when we go to Hollywood and see the original pictures of Hollywood, it looks like El Kemet in Babylon. Because Hollywood is where a certain group of reptilians landed when they took over and went to war with us as Moors and what they call Syrians, Martians, or Empress Califia. And that's why if you look it up right now, they say that there's tunnels underneath Hollywood and that there's reptilian tunnels underneath Hollywood. I've done episodes about it. That's what Michael's talking about, y'all. So Moonwalker has so many aspects of teaching you when you are about righteousness, when you wake up from your crib, when you wake up from the dead, and you start seeing that it's all a set, lower vibration, then you can start seeing reality. You're no longer butt naked. You can now judge good from evil. You become wise like the gods, plural. You become the Els, the Anu, the Kwezi Kuwaata, Nefertari, Natin, And doesn't that sound extraterrestrial when I start speaking those tones? And then the troglodytes will say, what did he just say? King nun nun ich an kin ra. And you hear how the clicking automatically starts when I start speaking El Kemet in our tones. They can't speak that because their nasal passages won't allow them to. They can't even do a click. And so that's how we lead, is the tones, the frequencies, the vibrations of the brothers with the deep voice. That's why they want everyone to sound like this. That's why they had Michael talking like that. Because Michael really didn't talk like that. he had to talk like that because if he started talking like this and saying, heal the world, make it a better place for you and me, it would be a problem. So he had to talk like this. And he had to fake his death, right? He still had to do it. And the day that I met Joe Jackson was the day that they announced that Michael had transitioned. I have it on video. It was at the BET Awards. And I was headed to Egypt. So right after I left the BET Awards, I hit the plane to New York with the barge in Manhattan. And my cat named Egypt got eaten that night, which was crazy, by a coyote. And I went to Kemet with Astral Quasi. Then I came back and got picked up by Michael DeBarge. And then when I'm staying with DeBarge, I went to 125th Street to do my thing, and I met Red and Blue Pill. That's where I met Red and Blue Pill, but I was coming to meet Sonetter. And then Sonetter came out with his pit bull. I got it. It's on film. They got it on film too. So there's a connection. And then, you know it's the fact because Red and Blue Pill were at their grandfather's booth, which was in front of the Apollo Theater, and Michael Jackson had a memorial. Talk to me. Talk to me. Because I'm telling you, I'm July, August, September, October, November. Jason, you already know. I'm here. So, Sun Ra, anything resonating with you of your experience with Moonwalker, the movie, and Michael?
Are we still there?
Hey, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, I think we might have some technical difficulties, but we can keep going. We can keep going.
Why? You guys couldn't hear me?
I heard you.
Oh, okay, so why are you saying that?
Let me reach out to him just one moment.
Who?
Let him know.
Who are you talking about?
Right, I hear you, Jason.
All right. So, we can hear him. We're good.
Yeah, we good. We Gucci.
So, we're at the Michael. So we just went in with Mike L. So that was what we call the spirit taking over, our channeling, y'all. So why they call it channeling? Because you can surf channels when you become the Sirius dog star. And this is what they teach us in Louisiana, in all these places. Marie Laveau. These are sisters. Papa Legba. Baron Samedi. Asa. Ba. Ra. Sa, Mu, or Medi. You feel me? Because you're the psychic medium. You are the connection. That is you. You are the Stargate, like Sun Ra was saying. So they hide us from these deities. And like Sun Ra was saying, Stan Lee created Magneto and Professor X based off of Dr. Martin Luther King and Malik El-Shabazz, known as Malcolm X. So right here, you know that you are the superhero. You are the spiritual infinite being that they fear, but you are returning in your higher form. So go ahead and expand further, Sun Ra, with Moonwalker. I was long-winded with that.
No, you wasn't. No. Listen, I'm over here learning because you broke that shit down better than I ever could. I never broke that shit down like that. So I'm saying you make me listen. I'm gonna watch that tonight because of what you just said. So thank you. I appreciate that, Jason. That's interesting. I didn't look at it super deeply like how you did that. So I'm gonna check that out.
And I don't remember the ending and all that stuff. The furthest I can remember is when he's in the desert and he takes off the rabbit in the middle of the desert. I don't remember much after that.
The ending. He just had a rock concert and that was it. That's when he transformed. That's when at the ending you meet rock star Michael Jackson. That's at the ending.
So he's a superhero like Captain EO was.
So
again,
look, I have a confession. As much as I love Michael Jackson, I have never seen Captain EO. That's
what?
I know. That's on my bucket list. I gotta see that.
Oh, they got it on the internet. It's typing it on YouTube.
It's free.
Yes, yes.
Oh hell, I'm about to watch this
They
shit
took
tonight.
it off. Yeah, I watch that all the time. Isn't that right, Lana? Oh, she might be having technical difficulties. So if you guys type in Captain EO, Michael Jackson had a movie at Disneyland, and before
I'm
Avatar
here.
was 3D, Michael Jackson had a 3D movie called Captain EO, where he traveled in a spaceship and he fought a cyborg. He fought an AI intelligent, half human, half robot, and she was connected to a computer, and she was causing a ruckus, and it was music. He went around using music, like Sun Ra was saying. Captain EO used music to heal the universe. And so it was music that was used to heal AI in the robot, because that's what we're going to have to do. We're going to have a reciprocal relationship with robots, because they're here. They're just slowly rolling them out. This is why we need our own land and our own factories, because like Sun Ra was saying, the vessel, like I just drew right here, I drew a picture while Sun Ra was talking, y'all. And it's a machine, basically. This is the head. This would be the head and your arms and legs. So they put the robot, they create the robot avatar, and they put the lower soul, they put your consciousness in these robots into the computer memory. And that's what Sun Ra was saying. They're going to store people's memory in these quantum computers. And that's why they're preparing us with everything being recorded, people giving up their rights in the form of their voice, their rights of their image. When we sign over probably to StreamYard, YouTube, they can use all this in the future, because people aren't going to be outside. They're not going to be able to make movies. They're not going to be able to do what they're doing in this dimension. We're leaving. But what they have planned in this matrix, they have it planned to where people are Ready Player One, to where you're in the headset, and then eventually you'll be in a room where it's all virtual reality, to where people and kids will be born into the matrix. They'll be born like we are. We're children of the matrix. And so that's what the song is about, that we're already in the matrix. We're already in the video game world. But the government's goal is to not have people awaken to the fact that the ancient world was advanced. And so if a person doesn't know that the past, your past life, the last time you plugged into here was advanced, well, some of us it was advanced, you're not, it was like Star Wars or Star Trek. So you're not able to, in your mind, look at the past as advanced. And so when we're talking about pyramids and our ancestors, people who think that they're black and came from Africa as a slave, they're thinking that our ancestors were ooga booga, swinging from trees and huts. They're not thinking that everything that the so-called troglodyte pale-skinned European is doing with laptops, NASA, robots, AI, trying to go to Mars, people think that they're the first to do that. Just like they taught us in school that they're the first philosophers, the first mathematicians, the first to harness electricity. That's a lie. So you have people literally still believing that reality. Therefore, the majority of the planet is in someone else's dream. So if they believe they die in the matrix. They die thinking this video game is real, and they trap your soul. And so this place is actually a soul trap. And that's why it's a freaking problem. And that's why we have to be warrior priests. That's really why, because people are dying. You never die, but people are believing that they die. And so you have people trapped here. So the majority of our relatives did not pass. They passed on from this tune to a different frequency. But when we talk about the mystery schools of what I and started speaking those tones, if you don't know how to speak that, when you so-called die, if an ancestor comes up to you looking like this, you're gonna freak out and you're gonna run to that pale skin, blonde hair, blue eyed deity that they have prepared for you on the other side. And that's when they trap your soul, because they've made you afraid of your ancestors, whether it's an ancestors with two heads, an ancestors that green or blue. Some of your ancestors, you in your original form might have four heads and slimy and disgusting. And you are here thinking you look pretty. But in your avatar,
Are you still there?
yeah, I'm here. You can't hear me? Sunrock, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Jason, can you hear me?
Yes. You're throwing me off, goddess.
Because his connection. But yeah, so as
wait.
he's talking about these
Sunrock,
aliens that are about
tell her
to
that
show
you can
up,
hear
what
me.
I wanted to say was, if we don't tune our frequency in, can you guys hear me?
So Lana, listen.
Yes.
So I can hear you and Jason, but you can't hear Jason.
Oh.
So he's talking. I can hear him. Maybe
So
you can't.
it's her
You
phone.
can't hear him. Yeah, you can't hear him, but I can hear him. You know what I'm saying?
So tell her to come back in and out.
He said come back in and out.
So go ahead, Sumra. I lost where I had train of thought.
Now you was going in. Nah, you was going in. I don't got nothing to say. You was going in.
So
I know I threw you off. Cause you was in the zone.
Yeah. So yeah, that's called channeling, y'all. So she broke that. Much love to the goddess. So it broke me down. I was going in. So
she's back in the building.
But so right here, we were talking about like the American gladiators and how us, when we grew up, we had these different types of TV shows of real gods, real gladiators, real men. Where are the shows for the brothers now? You know, they put in hip hop to make black men lazy. Meanwhile, like Sun Ra saying, other people are working out. And so they had shows like Legend of the Hidden Temple, Guts, Double Dare, Wild and Crazy Kids. We had cartoons where our artists like Hammer, every episode of Hammer was a positive message. And who was he going against? The Tribes, the Wicked Beings. Kid and Play had a positive cartoon. Pro Star, starring Michael Jordan, Bo Jackson, and Wayne Gretzky. We had shows like Wayne Head, Sister, Robert Townsend with Parenthood, Cousin Skeeter, Hanging with Mr. Cooper. Movies like Strictly Business, where it taught us as young brothers how to conduct business, how not to treat people and how to treat people, and most in particular, how to treat our women. It gave you examples of wealthy brothers and then brothers who were street, and at that time, to act street was ignorant, to act a fool, but also not losing your culture. So these movies in the 80s and 90s was a high level of so-called black entrepreneurship, black excellence. So movies like Boomerang inspired me to want to be a businessman outside of my immediate family. Sun Ra, did you ever see any of these movies, and were they influential to you, or any of these TV shows or cartoons?
All right, so bad. So check this out. Before I became super spaced out and all that type of shit, I love black movies. I love black comedy movies. Have I seen Boomerang? Boomerang, nigga, please. I've seen that shit a million times. I love that movie. Harlem Nights, I've seen a million times. Strictly Business, I've seen a million times. I love these movies. Now it's hard for me to take away. This is a more of a grounded subject, which is good because it creates balance. It creates balance. But How to Be a Player, that's another good one. You seen that? Have you seen that? How to Be a Player? With Bill Bellamy?
Yes, I used to love that movie.
Okay.
I used to watch that over and over. It taught me how to be a player, good and bad. You
I'm
know,
surprised you didn't put that one on. I thought you put
for
that one on.
God, see that, and that's what the essence. See, for everyone watching the show, start typing it in the chat. Some of your favorite black films, but go ahead, Blank Man. That movie inspired me. J5, you know, the brother built his own robot. And I used to work with computers and fix my grandma's computer just off of my head. Fix computers, TVs. So did you remember Meteor Man?
Yo, guess what? I have not seen it.
You've never seen Meteor Man.
But I have seen a brother from another planet. I saw that.
Well, what about these movies right here? Have you
Right?
seen Will Smith?
Hold on, hold
Right?
on. I love Will Smith, so I've seen most of his movies.
Okay.
Bright was a good. That was good.
What do you
That
think
was
about
good.
that? Because people laughed at it, but for me, I felt that, like for me, I'm not black, right? But as a kid, teachers would always say, "You are very bright." So bright is a race. You know what I'm saying? Do you get where I'm going? Is that at the end of the day, Will Smith was a bright, just like you're saying, we're Syrians. Brights were extraterrestrials. So if you watching this show were told by a teacher over and over, you're bright, and you notice that that teacher didn't tell other students that they were bright, they might say you're smart. That teacher knew truly what's going on. That teacher might have been part of a sisterhood or a brotherhood. So I wanted us to study Will Smith movies. And it's only an hour and 20 minutes into the show, y'all, and we're getting in. So what did you feel? Because that's what the start of the show was with Sun Ra and I. The mothership returning, and when we leave, like Elijah and these brothers say, the great balls of fire, those great balls that you find all around the world, those will be sucked up into the mothership, refurbished, and when we leave, the government knows they're going to war with our ancestors, and some of us who will be able to turn into superheroes. And that's why they show us these movies, because if they didn't kill Chad Boseman and Black Panther, what that did is it circumvented young brothers and us able to tap into Wakanda. Because I'm reading a book right now, y'all. It's called The Ancient Aliens of America. And I just found out that the Ansanazis, look up the Ansanazi Indians of North America. They have a story of a boy from Oaxaca, Mexico, so that's us, Omet, walking into the desert to communicate with extraterrestrial beings. So the movie Wakanda, the name Wakanda, is based off of a true oral tradition of us as Moors, and what they call Black Indians, communicating with extraterrestrials and using the crystals from a crashed spaceship to communicate with extraterrestrial beings. So doesn't that sound familiar, y'all, of what Sun Ra was saying? Us having devices. That's what I was saying with this. So I got this when I was in Atlanta, when I met Sun Ra for the first time. And so right here, you see Anubis. So imagine this device. Imagine this a device holding it up with certain crystals in a machine in it. I press a button, and these are antennas, and now I can receive the song, the message from Ra, and I can put it in a unk or a device and blast it to my priest. And that's why the ancient priesthood, just like today, the Pope who represents the Pharaoh, they say the Pope has a divine connection to God. That's like the Pharaoh. The us as a Tahuti are the divine priesthood, having a direct connection to Ra or to the Sirius constellation. And once we're able to understand our spacesuit, because that's really what it is knowledge of self, knowledge of instruction. What'd you say?
My bad.
It's knowledge, and that's what the hieroglyphs are. That's why they knock off the hieroglyphs. That's why they don't want us to visit Kemet of the East, because you can download the instructions. You might not be able to read it right now, but if you travel to Kemet of the East, your subconscious will download the hieroglyphs, which are hieroglyphs, which are sun. It's like a song. And so it's like reading the lyrics of a song and understanding what that musician or artist was truly communicating. And that's why they keep us away from our ancient monuments. But I'm here to teach y'all that Ta Mary, what we call Kemet, Ta Mary, when we take off the T, it says A Mary. And so Ta America, we take off the T, this is America. And that's why when we travel to Southern California, we find all Moorish Egyptian Commission names. That's because there were Commission Egyptian Atlantean Lemurian, or the island of Mu. Those colonies originally came from here. So if you study Tahuti, the priesthood of Tahuti, Quetzalcoatl, came from Atlantis. Where is Atlantis? The Americas. And so the first colony of Tahuti that was set up in Kemet was the priesthood of Atlantis. And that's America. And so that's why we have to be thankful to be born in America. That's why people from all over the world scramble for their children to be born on this land, because this is the landing site of the Martians, the extraterrestrial gods. And we disseminated the information across the planet from the headquarters, which was Amaruka, Amorica, and so when you start speaking in your tongue, Amoraka, and Amor, and that's why they don't want us to go. Why is that? I want everybody. There's a movie called Enemy Minds. I thought I had it on here. I know I do somewhere. But if you watch the movie Enemy Minds, I'm going to look for it while I talk. The movie Enemy Minds, it's starring Louis Gossett Jr. And it's about an extraterrestrial that and a human that landed on a planet or Earth, and they were on a planet. It was a U.S. astronaut, and basically right here, this movie right here. And basically when I watched it, my dad showed me as a kid, and I said, oh, that's us. So when you understand that they dropped a bomb, they dropped a nuclear bomb on this planet recently. So our skin color changed, the way we look changed, but our consciousness, that lives forever. That is infinite. But this, you can transfer your information, and that's what we were doing also in Kemet. We were able, when you see us like Anubis going like this on the slab, what they call Reiki healing, or Raka, meaning that when you have knowledge of Ra, you can speak tones and doing certain tones and chants, you can heal certain people. But when you're raised in El Kemet or Tamare, You're not going to school or hell. School is hell. When you're going to the mystery schools, which are my story, and you're learning all aspects of reality. So when you go to El Kemet, when you go with Brother Ashra Kwesi to Kemet Nu, and you understand that El Kemet is not just about the pyramid, it's also about what we call today the mystery schools. So when you look above those mystery schools, you'll see that the temples are actually set up like the human body. And so when you go into one temple, it's dedicated to the head. But what is inside of the head? You have the medulla oblongata, the eye, the cranial cavity, the pineal gland, right? The pie. What is the pie? The pie is not 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's so amazing in such a language that they have to put a hieroglyph or a glyph for the word pie. Not P-I-E, but pi, P-I. It's a glyph. So the word pi represents you, the 3.14, the 44, the infinite being. And so the pi kneels, the pineal, where L or pi, the pineal or the pine cone, the cobra that flickers. So the pi, the infinite consciousness is stored in there, and you left yourself clues in the hieroglyphs, in the math, in the sacred geometry, because you knew what was going to happen. So when you plug back into the video game, you've left yourself clues to ascend or to remember or to receive total recall. Because when you remember that you came to a business called Total Recall or the solar system, you will remember that you are plugged into a video game. And once you understand that you are in a video game, you can start breaking codes. You can say, oh, I was here before. What did I do? How do you find out what you did in your past life? It's called culture. And originally, what does the word culture come from, y'all? The word culture comes from what we were talking about earlier. The word culture comes from mushroom culture. A culture is when the mushrooms gather together. And when you eat a magic mushroom, you get the culture of the gods, goddesses, the universe, multiverse, the infinite verse. And what is a verse? It's the opposite of a curse, because a curse can be broken from a spell, a verse. So a raw verse can break a spell or put you under a spell. So when you eat from your culture, you can ascend to the higher realms, the realm. So right there, we can break down the science. So when they talk about us being reptilians, understand that this is still a water planet. You are on a water planet. It's just that someone trapped you on the land. This is why they killed Malcolm Jamal Warner in the waters, representing the Aquarius age, because most brothers don't know how to swim. They're not able to swim right now in the Aquarius age with the name Malcolm X. And what just came with the Malcolm and the Dr. Martin Luther King and the CIA files, the Bill Cosby. Come on, y'all. Malcolm Jamal Warner, Warner Brothers, Hollywood script. And so that's a sacrifice. Someone, if they couldn't get Bill, they got his son, he had to go. And he died in the waters, the Aquarian age, during the J.A.S.O.N months. Hello. July, August, September, October, November. Remember, these are the months where I remember that I'm in the video game, that I'm here, that I've been here before. And so when you remember that you've been here before Christ, before God, prehistory, before history, before his story, because it's a never ending story for him. He's trapped here. So he can only go as high as as high as you take him. So when you separate from him, all he can live in is what you taught him, unless he has one of y'all kidnapped, unless he has you in an underground facility where he can birth you again, unless he has your cells, your DNA where he can clone you again, unless you are so brainwashed where you believe in Jesus, you believe in God, you believe that Jesus came before you, you believe that Christ came before you, you believe these things. Believe a lie to what they say, Eve, the woman, evening. And so that's the whole point, is that they have to get at our mothers. And who is the mother? Maya. Maya. Who's the original Maya? The mother. The original Maya is the Mer, our mothers. And so when we understand the Maya, that's why we're here as the original Mayans. And that's why they created the new Mexicans, because we're the original Mexica, people of Mexica, old Mecca, old Mexicans. It's not old rubber people, it's old Mecca. That's why they say old Mech, because when you put an A after the old Mech and it's old Mecca, then you break it to the D in the A, it says old Mecca. And then when you pronounce it Mechi, and then you learn about the Chi, XI, because the troglodyte cannot pronunciate your ancient dialect. And so he has to trap you in a tone, in a song, in a frequency, in a curse. So Jason, I can break the curse with a verse. The Sunwalker, ra, forward, not return. I don't read anything. R-E is to reevaluate. We go forward with Ra, R-A, the Sioux, the sun. And so that's who we are. And so when we talk about living in a water world, a water planet, like Kevin Costner's movie was trying to show you, with the gills behind your ears, with these being your web fingers. And so when you study when the troglodyte came to America, the first thing that they did was dammed up your rivers, because you used to live and set up your civilization as a reptilian and half mammal on the land next to the river, because you're both. Like a dolphin is a mammal. A dolphin is a mammal, but they teach you that only fish live in the ocean, only amphibians, but that is not true. And so when we learn about the dolphin or the Delphi or the oracle, the Delphi is where they would learn from the goddess priesthood, but the Delphi deals with the mermaids. Now, some will say that the mermaids were maids of the Muurs, which were true, because the first maids were troglodytes. We had pale-skinned Europeans first as the maids, and they tell you that in the movies in reverse. That's why they make movies in Hollywood called The Maid, because they made you a maid, because you had them as your maids when you were trying to bring them into civilization, when you were giving them a reality, different degrees of information, different worlds. You gave them days, you gave them months. You told them that's the sun. That's a word. And so we gave them words, which are worlds to live in, to test them. It's a test experiment. It's an experiment as us as extraterrestrials to weed out the sellouts who are on the spacecraft, who, when we got here, went rogue. And that's how we're able to determine who can lead, because you're seeing it right now. You're seeing the sections of people who look like us but have a different mission on this realm that they call Earth. Can you please turn that light on? The show's going live. And so if you if you believe that you're on Earth or hurt or terra, you're on a terrorized planet. That's why they called it terraforming. Like the God of the Bible, he terraformed the planet. He terrorized the dolphins, the Delphi, us, because we are the dolphins. And we got mixed in with a different group of beings. And so they took us, mixed our DNA, and we came on the land. That's why they don't want us to take up swimming. Because I know as a track athlete, if I could have done both sports, I would have kicked butt in swimming because I had a pool in my backyard and I could beat the trogs. And they would, in high school and stuff, and then growing up, they would be amazed, like, how does this black kid swim? That's why they put so-called Moors, and mermaids and dolphins, us as reptilians, in the inner city. Because they dammed up the waters, the lakes and the rivers, because we were always around water to replenish ourselves. That's why they give us liquor to dehydrate us. Because once we're dehydrated, we go insane, and then they'll put the alcohol, the demon inside of us. Because we are the reptilians that they're teaching people to fear. There's the reptilian brothers who eat all the meat, like the Komodo dragon, and then there's like iguanas who eat vegetation. Watch the cartoon. It's called Dinosaurs. I used to watch it as a kid, Dinosaurs. And it shows you how some of the reptilians are dinosaurs, talking intelligent reptiles. Some are good, some are wicked. Sun Ra, can you talk about it?
Hey, check this out, man. yo, I can study. You're a great teacher. I'm going to go back and study this lecture. Because you are educating me about a lot of things I'm not aware of, brothers. I appreciate that. Hey, but check this out, brother. I'm on 4%. It's almost 3 a.m. Oh, hold on. It's almost 3 a.m. I gotta go to work tomorrow. Yo, catch me on an off day. We can do a 3-hour show.
Okay, leave us with something before the phone dies. Just keep talking.
Always follow your intuition. Always follow your intuition. Return to the ancestors. Raise your vibration. Raise your vibration. Always follow your intuition. It is the return of the ancestors. It is the return of the ancient Egyptians. All right, peace, y'all. Hey, Jason, catch me on an off day. We can go in. All right,
brother.
Hey, thank you for inviting me. We're gonna do this more soon. More often. Also, please consider that event I sent you. You said you want to come to Atlanta. All right, so that's a perfect week. That would be a perfect weekend for you and your beloved to come out to Atlanta. Afrofuturism, nigga, please. Afrofuturism is my middle name. But anyway, so on that note, peace, and we're gonna link up very soon. All right.
Peace and hair grease.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
I love you, brother, and thank you for coming on. Let's start doing this more, because now we don't have a time limit. I'm in control of the show. And like I said, once we get our facilities, we're turning these podcast episodes. We're going to have live shows, just like Arsenio Hall did. We're taking What is the Matrix, and we're going to have it live film, studio audience. And then we're going to take it on the road, y'all, to where people like Sun Ra taught me are going to come to hear me teach. So just like you hear the preachers preach, you're going to hear us teach. So Sun Ra, before your phone dies, can you give us some information on us being reptilians or extraterrestrial Syrians, and that aspect of what you know from the good and bad? And he's out. So Lana, can you elaborate on any experiences of extraterrestrials that you know? And as we're on this topic of UFOs, aliens, and us being reptilians, and why they would try to demonize that to us as another frontier when we awaken to who we are. And look at the picture; it's a troglodyte, and it looks to me like us. So what do you think?
I think one of the reasons why we need to raise our vibration and our frequency is because some of us aren't going to be prepared to see what we see. So, like in this picture right here, you see that green looking extraterrestrial. Like, can you imagine waking up and seeing that if you're not prepared for it? If your DNA is not prepared to see something like that. So, I think it's important that we raise our vibration and heal, change the way we eat, exercise, everything we talked about. Because when we see these beings, a lot of us aren't going to be prepared to physically see what's in front of us. Like, so when I talk about my experience when Ampu or Anubis came in the room from the ground up, right? If I wasn't prepared spiritually for that, I would have freaked out. I've had experiences with other, seeing other beings as ever since I was a kid. I've always, been able to see other things that other people can't see. But it still freaked me out. You know what I'm saying? As a kid, and my dad was a pastor. He would tell me, "Say in the name of Jesus if something's choking you, or if you see something when you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and it's a spirit standing there." That's what I was taught to do. But in reality, we should be fixing our temple, because these beings that we see, those are our ancestors. And so we have a spacesuit on right now. When we take that spacesuit off and we see what we really look like, we might have 4 eyes and 16 ears. You know what I'm saying? Like, can you imagine seeing that right now? That would freak you out. So, or not you specifically, that would freak most people out. So, yes, I have had my own experiences, and that's why I feel like it's important that we heal and cleanse and unplug as much as possible, so that we are prepared for when we see these crafts, because we're already seeing things right now. Like, you and I have had those experiences where we've seen um extraterrestrial, or we've seen things flying in the sky. We've seen flickering of birds. We were standing in the garage and looked up and we saw birds, and then those birds went into literally like a fabric of the earth, into the clouds. They just disappeared, but they started flickering and making like these really cool lights, right? So most people would see that and say, "Oh, that was just the wind," or you know what I mean? They'll make something up. But no, this is really happening. This is really happening. So we have to be prepared for it. Because
And
if you're
that's
not, you're gonna freak out, and that's why we have to separate from people right now.
yes.
Because I'm telling you, you can't look. I cannot be around anybody. I have to be by myself because I can't deal with folks. Just their frequencies off, and you can tell. So, and you don't want to miss your calling either, being around the wrong folks,
Mm,
because you might be around the wrong crowd during that time where you get the ring,
yes.
and
Like
then
it.
and because their frequency is off, like static,
Mm,
and let's
mm,
say you're vibrating, you've been working out, you've been eating right, you've been unplugging from folks that don't serve you well and from things that don't serve you well, and now you're feeling good, and then you backtrack and go, let me go hang out with such and such is talking about all negative stuff, and all they want to talk about is all their diseases, and everything's this and everything's that, and now your frequency's lowered, and then when the call comes, you don't hear it because you're hanging around all the wrong folks. So we got to
mm.
unplug.
Keep going into that because that makes sense. Like Independence Day. If you guys look to the right, remember the scene like Lana was saying, kind of like with Vivica Fox and her co-worker. The girl was like, "Come on, girl, let's go. Let's go meet him." And Vivica Fox was like, "Man, girl, I have a feeling that you shouldn't go." Because Vivica Fox was in tune. She's worried about her loved one. She's in
Mm-hmm.
tune with some type of love frequency, regardless of her profession. So that was also showing you it doesn't matter what a person's profession might be, if it's of love, doing certain things in a love frequency base. So her friend was like, "I want to meet him. I want to meet him. I want to see him." And she was like, "Please promise." And she said, "Okay, I promise." And what happened? She was at the rooftop when what? They blew it up. You guys remember that?
Mm.
Do you remember
There.
that scene?
I don't remember it.
Oh yeah, the girl, the so-called the so-called white girl with the dark hair, she played on Saved by the Bell college years
Okay, I know you're
Jack
talking about.
Morris.
Yeah, yeah,
She
yeah.
was like me, and they blew her up. That's what
Mm.
Lana's basically showing you. So once again, when you hear those ringing in your ears, those tones, those frequencies, that's you being tuned like a pitchfork. So when you, like Lana was saying, when you're getting instructions for the craft and different things on what to do and where to go, your subconscious will be hearing it. Because if they start telling you in English, or if you start hearing your native tongue, like that's when people who they say end up in the mental hospitals and stuff like that. It's not that some people aren't, it's just that some people are not, and that currently the mystery schools are closed. So when a person so-called wakes up and either hears voices or sees apparitions or sees things on a higher frequency, and it's not a violence, and they can communicate, there were so-called temples, there were so-called lands where that person could go and study, just like Harry Potter. There's mystery schools on higher and lower realms where you can learn to fly, learn to harness your psychic abilities, learn your yoga. That's why they attack the where is it, the yogis stay, where, not the Himalayas, but Tibet, like
Mm.
Golden Child. So that was an example of Golden Child, because we're the people, original people of Tibet, and those monks who look like Elijah Muhammad, Mu, Ham. So even in the word Mu and Ham, those are what they say tribes, but all that's us. And so you can use words, the spells, to either break the curse or use a verse to ascend to the mothership, the mother will, just like Lana was saying. So by eating the correct nutrients, which are basically nectars, because when we say AEIOU and nectar and nutrients, so basically instead of diet, let's say let's eat the nectars. And
Yeah.
so that would be why the European would say, oh, they're cannibal. They ate their gods. This god ate that. But in all actuality, the ancient gods were the neters, which are nature. So I can go outside right now and study the hawk that's always in the tree since I was a kid. And then at night, there's a cuckoo. I have a night owl that's always in the tree. And then I could study the coyotes that are always around where I was raised. And then Lana, what animal our little critter ran across us the other night that I
Oh,
barely, a
uh,
a
a
raccoon.
raccoon. A raccoon. Yeah.
And
Two of them.
raccoons, a raccoon. They used to call you guys coons. They used to call us coons, raccoons. A Ra with the dark circles over our eyes. Just like when you see those moon rings, like your dad or your grandfather who has that blue circle around their eyes, that's the moon people. That means that you come from the moon people, meaning that your bloodline is so ancient that you were here before the moon was in the sky.
Wow.
Because our ancestors say that the moon is recent, and that's why certain deities are, and moon deities are new. And that's when you study Osiris as a moon deity and Ra as a sun deity. And so that's nature. And so once again, when we study nature, you can break down your environment. I can go outside and study a lizard. The lizards outside, they'd be doing push-ups. So I'll be like, oh, it's time to do a push-up. The lizard's telling me, work out. And then it'll go like this. And I'll be like, ain't nothing around. And I'll be like, in your world, he's looking around for a bird, a cat, a dog, you know? So it's like, always be attentive of your surroundings. And he or she's on the hunt for little bugs. You feel me? And so that's how you have to look at it, as an intergalactic being. Just like Sun Ra taught about people eating meat, and how we harvest chickens and how we harvest hathar, right? Meat, beef. In other countries, you'll get killed if you eat a cow or kill a cow. You'll go to jail if you hit a cow with your car in certain countries, because the cow is sacred. Because what comes from cow dung? The magic mushroom.
I didn't know that.
One of the ways, not just in nature, but also the cow dung. When the cow eats the grass, it shits out, excuse my language, it drops out in the feces, what we call dung. That's why we have the dung beetle, kefra, the dung beetle, the scarab beetle, the big bad beetle board. And so when we learn about the insect world, when we learn about the circle of life, imagine that on a higher level, like the movie Starship Troopers. And so basically, to sum this portion up, what Lana was saying, when you're hearing those ringtones, when you're going through your day, and this is another thing, when you so-called, let's use different spelling words. Let's not say wake up, because wake is death.
Yeah.
When we say good morning, that's a celebration of when they murdered us as Moors. And so when they say good morning, they're saying it's a good day that the Moors are asleep. So why don't we say good day, Moor? Good day, Moor. Good day, Mur. You know, like peace, God. You know, things of that nature. But when we learn about the etymology of the word God, which is Germanic, we really can start learning that once again, our people have been tricked to worship words. And these words are once again spells that bind us in a world and trap us in the matrix.
But we
And
should go back to not speaking.
there you go, telepathy.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's why our language was a song. We'll do a click. And then they'll make fun of the Indians. Oh, A, E, I, O, U. So it'll be A, O, U. You guys get it?
Yeah.
All right, I'm speaking vowels. A, E, I, O, U. But in every word, pretty much, you know, that you have to use a vowel in certain tones for them. We had to teach the humans certain tones. So A. So what's up, A? Like the Mexicans say A, because that's there you go. Because the new Mexicans are also troglodytes, and that's when you learn about there's the new Mexicans who are mixed with us as Moors. So you'll have a new Mexican who's either dark skinned and some of them are curly hair. Some might still have the flat nose. They're related to us. Then you have the new Mexicans who are Spanish, like a Cortez, who came and pillaged Mesoamerica. So you have the Spanish New Mexicans who are Europeans. And then you have the Spanish who mix in with their Asian slaves that they brought over, what they call chinos or chinks. And so chinos are Asians. And that's why in Chino Hills in California, the chinks are Asian stay. The Oriental are the Mongolians, are the Mongoloids. You remember when we called them Mongoloids? Do you remember that, Lana?
I don't.
They used to call Asians Mongoloids, and that's where you get the word Mongolians, and why they're a bunch of Mongoloids, Mongolians who have you know what a Mongol, and so the new Asians, not the Cambodians and those ones who were raped by the new Asians, like the new Chinese and stuff. And that's why we study this book right here, y'all. This book right here, The Lost World of Cham, Kham, Kham or Cham, the Trans-Pacific Voyages of the Champa, which is Cam, meaning that this book talks about Kemet, the Cam, the Cometians, intergalactic or international education system, meaning that we had colonies all around the planet. So when we study Cambodia, when we study Vietnam, Viet Cong, those are us. We are the original people of the Pacific Islands. So when you see a Cambodian, those are Nagas, those are niggas. When you see a Polynesian, like a Samoan, a Tongan, they're a Moor or a Mer, what they call an African, mixed with either a new Asian. So that's why when you see different Asians, you'll see the Asians who are just straight pale and straight hollow hair, and then you'll see Asians who can get a tan, or they might be a little pale, but they'll still have a flat nose, and some of them will still have kinky hair. That's us. They're us. They were just raped when the new Asians came to those lands. Our European came and raped them and tainted their bloodline, which is the culture, which is the memory bank of you being here in your past life. So if a robot, which are the new beings, the troglodytes, if they can have sex with you and intermarry and create an interracial child, that child is not going to have the same blood type, the same purity as the father or the mother who is an original Martian or Moor or extraterrestrial. So that's the story of us as aliens or angels or extraterrestrials mixing in with the humans. Because when we have an interracial baby, that interracial baby will be greater than the human. And so if you have mixed kids in your family, more than likely they're not as fast as us. More than likely they get sick easy. They're always allergic to something. They can't rap as fast as us or sing like us. They basically get teased because they can't compete on our level as a relative. And you know how Nagas do. We call it shooting the dozens. Which we call numbers, because when we speak, we're really saying 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 times 25. But when we taught it to the humans, they can't. They don't have enough neuromelanin in their spacesuit to understand and compute me saying 5 times 3 divided by 12, 13, 5. They'll be like, what? So we had to put mathematics and sacred geometry in glyphs. So when you see the glyph 1, when you see the glyph 2 or 3, and we put it into the letter A. So the letter A is really the number 1. And the letter B is truly the letter 2. You feel me? The sound. And so basically, I forgot where I was taking that with the notes. So I'll stop there. The purity. So if a child is interracial, much love, they're not going to be that. So if you have a cousin and he goes around his white family, his European family, he's going to be doing greater things. He's going to be able to sing better, run faster. He's going to be more intelligent. He's going to be able to stand under the sun more. And so he's going to be a standout in his European family. And they'll praise him, but then eventually they'll hate him. And so he'll never be truly accepted by his so-called white family because they can't compete physically, spiritually, sexually as him being a half god or extraterrestrial. And so that interracial child will have to make a decision to whether they're going to have to be white, which is fake. There's no such thing as a white person. So they'll have to be a troglodyte, which is no culture. The pale-skinned Europeans' culture is our culture that we gave to them, that they either practice righteously, or the shady Moors gave them technology and spirituality to practice what we call the temple of Set or Satanism, which are Judaism. Satanism is Judaism.
Wow.
Yahweh, so that's Satanism, which is basically a school of thought on how to harness the color red and a number and a frequency. And that's what Hollywood is also about, sex magic and all those things. And if you vibrate on a different color, it means certain, like an Osar and all these temples and green and all these Green Lantern things. And so basically, when we understand the mixing of the blood, if they can convince the Moorish woman to start having sex with the troglodyte, they can kill us. They can literally kill in 2 generations. They can literally wipe it out. So more than likely, when a Moor has sex with a human and has a interdimensional being, an interracial being, that being, it more than likely will continue having procreation with a human. And so basically a mixed child who's lighter skinned with straighter hair, they're going to procreate, let's say, a mixed male, a mixed black boy, more than likely will mate with a troglodyte woman. And then their child will look pale, and then they will marry a so-called white person, and it's gone. There'll only be small traces that you can find in the hair. If you ever see a so-called European or white person with a little wavy hair or a little tan or freckles, their great 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 grandmother might be a Moor, or what they call African or black. And then you see red-headed pale skinned women. Those are just pale skinned Moors. And so that's another thing, because you learn about Scotland and Nova Scotia and Akhenaten's daughter, and when albinos were being birthed, they were sent to rule in certain regions because the sun in certain regions were burning them up. And that's why you see 2 cases. I have a friend who had a baby born, and his wife is a Moor. They're both dark skinned, and his daughter turned out pale skin, blonde hair, blue eyes, beautiful, beautiful. And so if she is in Egypt, she would have to be moved to a colder climate, and we'll give her knowledge, give her everything as the gods, and she can rule in that kingdom. And so that's where we would send those who were born with albinism or who would catch vitiligo. And that's another story. And that's when you learn also about the original Europeans were dark skinned, Moors. So basically, when you have sex with a human, the reason that they said don't do it is because it can kill us. Meaning that, do you get it now, Lana? You get what I'm saying?
I absolutely understand what you're saying.
And so that was long-winded. So give me something while I take a quick 2-minute break. I'm gonna put it on the picture for you though.
Yeah, I'm starting to wind down. I'm falling asleep.
My bad. It is over 2 hours. So let's just call it a night then. So I love y'all for tuning in. Did you want to add anything, Lana?
No, I didn't want to add anything other than just this is an opportunity for us to heal. And just remember, if we're not healed, we can't go with our ancestors. And if we got to start all over again, which I don't even know if you can start over again. Well, either way it goes, if you have to do this life again, it gets more difficult. Remember how difficult it is right now. A lot of folks are into Trump. They want to plug into the Donald Trump app. They want to plug into all the false realities that they're creating for you in your mind to believe is really happening. So when you plug into those realities, you're going to miss the boat. And so that's why I urge people to unplug from the reality TV shows, unplug from the food that's weighing you down, get into the knowledge, into self, ask your guides to help you. Your ancestors are literally right here, but you can't see them because you vibrate on a lower frequency. When you raise your frequency, you'll start to see things happening. The ones that they call crazy, like us, oh, they're crazy. Well, our vibration is high, so we see things that most people can't see. And so once you start to raise your vibration, you're starting to be more in tune with your ancestors. Like visualize you're in the water and you have no life jacket and you can't swim, and you got your ancestor and they're like, yo, I got a boat, I got my hand right here, but I can't reach you because you're too far away. So when you start stretching your hand out more and more and making an effort, they'll start making more of an effort too. So that's how we get to our ancestors. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you, but thank you for having me, as always. And it was a pleasure being able to be on here on this platform and speaking to everybody. So have a great night, and we'll do this soon.
And as I close it out, the goddess will speak, the warrior priestess. And next episode, I'm gonna show you guys some clips of Lana in the gym. As a real warrior priestess, I want to say thank you for being authentic. I see so many women. First of all, let's stop calling everyone a goddess. I know I love to call women goddesses to spark it. So whenever a person or a woman meets me, she'll always know that I met a brother named Jason who called me a goddess. She might not ever been called that, but my goddess, she's a warrior priestess. She's deserving of that title. So many women today cut themselves, carve themselves. Now they take medicine to cheat. They do all these cheating things, and it's like cheating as an athlete. If you cheat at practice, people are going to see in the race unless you do steroids. And that's why there has to be testing for fake cheaters. And I want to be a person who, just like in the conscious community, who I know is fake, I can say personally as a testament, I witnessed Lana in the gym. She's inspiring. So when she starts her currency flow of her juices, when she introduces her new book, when she has these classes that she charges for, like currency, in order to have currency, you have to charge it up, just like a crystal. She's worthy. We have to support the Mayas, the mothers, our women, because she is the divine. She is the one. We have to lead by example to make sure that she is protected, so she can give the information on what she's been observing. Because a goddess like Lana who respects us, that's the goddess in the culture, in the reality we serve. We serve Maya. We serve the woman, our mother, the Eastern Star. We serve our mothers when she's of love. But when we don't, we have to separate from the mothership. And that's why the mothership's returning, because Maya, Lana, the Sekhmet, she's returning to us. Our sisters are Ra turning, Ra moving forward, Ra forward. Ra is moving forward. And so I thank you, because when I look at your UFC videos, it's inspiring. When I'm in the gym with you, it's inspiring. When I'm typing my papers and you're going, it's inspiring. And when I'm on Facebook and looking at certain females' faces, I could be like, she had surgery. You're fake. Dude will just whoop on you. You know what I'm saying? But as far as marriage, and then if you procreate with women who slice themselves up and fake things, much love to all sisters if they had to do that. I'm not judging, but we're talking about intergalactic travel. You can't go. So if you have breast implants, if you cut yourself for cosmetic surgery, unless you needed certain things to survive, like cancer patients, and much love to all sisters and brothers who have to do these things. But if you're doing it for vanity, Hollywood, satanic purposes, copying a celebrity basically who gave their soul to these deities in secret behind set, because set is forward. So when they say behind the set, they're talking about the deity and the priesthood and the reality. And so we move forward. And so when we uplift Lana, and so she is the charge. And
Gratitude.
so thank you. And so
Gratitude.
I'll end it with this. My favorite episode that I've seen on the X-Files, it was called The Unnatural. And it was actually written by David Duchovny. I want to say it was his first one. And it changed my life because certain TV shows, certain movies correlated with me always feeling and knowing I was different and I was an alien, and that I was part of an MK Ultra experiment, given Ritalin, trying to convince me that I wasn't a superhero or an alien or a mutant. They gave me Ritalin to try to destroy my superpowers. And so what's going to happen is that some of us are going to turn into our original form, like this episode. So as we close it out, everyone go look it up, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about X-Files in the next episode and how they show us reality on TV, and how it's clues for us who are awakening, rising, and those who have risen to go to the mystery schools, our mystery learning institutions through TV. And so basically the brother, he plays for the Grays in the Negroid Baseball League. And so as you guys know, the Negroid Baseball Leagues were the original baseball leagues. The Moorish baseball leagues were originally ours. We taught the troglodytes how to play baseball. So if you study the Negroid leagues, certain pitches like the curveball and certain screwballs, all the troglodyte white boys, they learned that from the so-called Negroid league players. And Babe Ruth, he was half Moor, half troglodyte. Babe Ruth was mixed because white boys don't have nicknames. So Babe Ruth was mixed. And so basically the Negro leagues were the professional leagues, and so-called white boys weren't good enough to play in our leagues. But eventually they manipulated people and took brothers out of the Negroid leagues to make their leagues not go bankrupt. And just like today, they use the aliens on the islands like Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic instead of the Amarucans, because if the aliens from America were to play, we would be wealthy and create our own baseball leagues, and the pale-skinned Europeans would have to use steroids to compete with us. And so basically, the alien reveals himself to, I think, one of the white players, and that's it. And we'll talk about it. And then to end it, go look up the Star Trek episode Code of Honor, and we're going to talk about how Hollywood controls your magic, which is inside you being the Magi, the Jedi. So you are the Jedi, which is Magi, the magic, imagination. So if they can control your magic, your imagination, they can control your future. And if they can control your future, they can control your present, which is you right now, your present. And then they control your past, and then they can control your soul, spirit, and trap you in a matrix. I am JasonElmst Williams, master of the universe. You can find me on Instagram at JasonElmst, and you can cash at me at $JasonElmst. And always remember, I am July, August, September, October, November, Jason. And I'm going to leave y'all with some modules. And always remember, this isn't just talk. I have a 501c3 tax-exempt organization by law, meaning that you can donate to our nonprofit and it can be a tax write-off. We also have an LLC. So if you have equipment you would like to donate to our donation, if you would like to be an investor, if you would like to be a sponsor, we're currently working on getting our brick and mortar. We need to build more worlds. We need to update our websites. We need more technology. We need printing presses. We need better cameras. So if you have technology, if you're a graphic designer and you're watching this show, please, I'm looking for the elite of the elite. If you're in the cybersecurity, if you're into film, if you're into health, and you want to assist, come on board the Mothership. I'd love for you to be part of what the crew, you know, our culture. And so once again, the Matrix University, we supply digital education right now. And so when we have the brick and mortar, we're going to have our own university physically, but right now it's digitally. So we're able to take students from around the world who might not have the opportunity to learn about their culture, who might not have the opportunity to hear lectures like this in a K through 12 format for college students, high school students, because this, as you know, is for higher realms. Like a person who can't pass algebra cannot go into chemistry and calculus and geometry and all these things, right? So I'm going to give you a quick example of some worlds that you guys can become members of. So basically, when you become a member of the Matrix University, you'll have access to the Matrix University metaverse. So your children, your family, your wife, your daughter, your sons, your nephews will be able to use their laptop or PC, and they'll be able to learn about science, anatomy. They'll be able to travel in our field trips. They'll learn about every subject. And then they're able to put on the MetaQuest headsets and experience virtual reality learning at a gamification level. Instead of just playing sports games and violent games, they're learning. And that's the key to life, is knowledge and knowledge itself. And that's what the Matrix University is all about. So here you go. Well, actually, this is the VR. That was the VR world. I'm going to show you the Metaversity real quick.
I'm going to show you proof that melanin.
There you go.
Telling the story that they want people to know, and we're going to learn a lot more about these a little bit later. But just stop and take a look at what the tombs actually look like. Okay, we are at the tomb of King Tutankhamun. And you can see that there are a lot of tourists here. It's a busy area. We're outside of the city of Luxor. Now, what's interesting is that King Tut, as he's known in the West, became king at age 9. His mother was Queen Nefertiti. And these tombs took a lot of years to build, but he died at age 18. And so they rushed ahead. So people believe that he was either killed by somebody striking him, or perhaps he fell off his chariot and hit his head. So a little bit unsure, but we're going to next go inside. We can't shoot in there, but we can provide some photos. Thank you. King Tut's tomb, discovered in 1922 by archaeologist Howard Carter, is one of the most famous and remarkable archaeological finds in history. Located in the Valley of the Kings, Luxor, Egypt, the tomb contained a wealth of exquisite treasures and artifacts, including Tutankhamun's gilded sarcophagus and the iconic golden funerary mask that adorned his mummified remains. The tomb's intact state provided unprecedented insight into the opulence and religious practices of ancient Egypt, captivating the world with its...
Hello everyone, I am Professor Jason E. Williams. I will be guiding you through the Matrix University campus with our first lesson on the Moors' influence on Europe the Olmec civilization, and hidden history. 1. Architecture and urban development. The Moors constructed impressive edifices such as the Alhambra in Granada, the Great Mosque of Cordoba, and various other palaces, mosques, and cathedrals that showcase the unique Moorish architectural style characterized by horseshoe arches, intricate tile work, and lush gardens. They had great accomplishments and knowledge. 1. Scientific and medical advancements. The Moors brought sophisticated medical knowledge to Europe, stemming from their understanding of ancient Greek, Roman, and Islamic medical traditions. They established hospitals that served more patients than their European counterparts and were among the first to use techniques such as surgery and pharmacy.
Families all over the world on 360-degree field trips. So the goal, once again, is to get sponsors, donations, and investors so we as well can host our own trips in 360-degree videos around the world. So this is an example of our friend and host Steve Grubbs, which is actually the owner of the company that I have collaborated with the Matrix University. So once again, this is our global field trip module to where we can take students and families all around the world instead of spending thousands of dollars, airport security, and passports. Once again, gamification of education. We're making education cool and fun again and giving access to education for all. So here we go.
We've made it to the Temple of Karnak. Now again, Karnak is in Luxor. Luxor is fairly far south of Cairo. So if you look at this map, you can see right up at the top is Cairo and Giza, and that's where all the big pyramids that are so famous are. But if you follow the Nile River purposes, one was it was a messaging tower to the gods to give the prayers
the obelisk
to the gods and then to receive messages from the gods.
And so this is technology, y'all.
It was also a decorative piece for
a communication device.
Obviously. We know that in Washington, D.C., the Washington Monument is an obelisk, and there is a replica of this obelisk